Hello, Reese from the Point Music Podcast thingy. Back at it again with another podcast straight for your ear holes and viewing pleasure if you're watching this on video. Firstly, I would like to say if you haven't subscribed to this podcast on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from, can you do that for me? It'd be very cool to do me a solid and support this podcast since I've been doing it for like 3 years, 4 years. I've lost count. Special guest this one, RAAVE Tapes. RAAVE Tapes. Newcastle's RAAVE Tapes. They've just dropped their self-titled debut album, which is clearly called RAAVE Tapes, and it's epic. Lots of sort of eclectic sort of electronica coming through there, mixed with sort of indie sort of. You know what? Just go bloody listen to it. The first song alone, just stick braces on it. It'll grab you straight up. Epic track. I use epic a lot because it is epic. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this chat. Well, that was a Freudian slip. Got a cool chat with Job and Lindsay from RAAVE Tapes talking about the album, and I get a little bit sidetracked in that, but that's because I'm tired. Anyway. Hope you enjoy this one. Ladies and gentlemen, people all sorts, RAAVE Tapes. And rolling. It's Lindsay and Job. RAAVE Tapes. I'm going to say it's right. I'm going to go with the whole paraphrasing rage because that's how it appears in my head whenever I read it. I before we go into anything, I'm going to tell you a spooky story. Bless you. All right. So, you know... This is going back, like I'm in my mid-40s now, so I was in the golden age of internet slow shit. And I used to stay up late at night, like 1 o'clock in the morning, just on chat rooms and just chatting away and that. And sometimes while I was on chat rooms, I'd have a look at other things. And sometimes I'd look at like the playlist for Rage coming up on the next on that weekend just to see what was happening and might want to pre-record stuff, yeah? Mm-hmm. So this is like 1 o'clock at night, and I had my daughter was about a year old behind me in a cot. So this is like talking about 2002, and my partner at the time was sleeping in the bedroom opposite the room I was in, and I had the speakers down low, and I could hear this race, and I was just going, "What the fuck is that?" And I thought it was like my partner, and I go in the room there, she's sound asleep. And clearly it wasn't my kid because she's 1 year old. There's no way she's going to do that. I sat down and went, yeah, cool. All right, that's a bit freaky. Back to like chatting away, and all of a sudden, race. Going, what the starting to freak out like there's some fucking ghost or some shit. You know when you watch Rage and you watch like the interlude bits where they go rage.
Yeah, there's the whispery one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that on the actual website because it had this looping thing where it just go rage. It was fucking
creepy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my stupid story for the night. Anyway, congrats on the self-titled album, guys. Like it's a banger.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Oh,
Any kind of feedback is good feedback.
Well, it's just got so much like eclectic sort of stuff coming through it. Like I mentioned in and how you've mentioned as well the French electronica and that in Braces in the opening track, which is probably my favorite track on the whole album.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a dope, man. You guys didn't have to go that hard at the end though. That was borderline into heavy stuff right at the end there. I love it. But yeah, like I said in the review, there's like old school Pnow like sneaking through, and then you listen to I Just Want to Be Alone when you got the drum and bass coming through there, and K High reminds me of something, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Apart from Basement Jaxx.
A few people say that actually. I've had a few people say like the little hook in that, like sonically that whatever
it's
that melody
is.
It's just like fucking shit. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant melodically. That little.
Yeah, no, I do like... that. But there's some like Basement Jaxx bass line in that. Down. It sounds like Where's Your Head At, which is basically interpolating and sampling Gary Newman. But it
I think that is actually probably not in a different key, but it's the same notes pretty much. Is it, Linz?
You-
Now that I'm thinking about
I think it's the exact same.
Where's your head at?
And I'm pretty sure, like when we've done practice, I've gone no, and played that and been like, that's that song. We've
Yeah.
had
Wow.
that kind of. Wait a second.
Live mashup incoming.
Did you know that was a Gary Newman sample though?
No,
Yes, I do. I love that album.
See, Lindsay's onto it.
What's the album called again? It's the one where he's like on the front and he's looks a bit machiney.
It's the one with cars on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got it here in my vinyl collection. I'm not going to go find it for you though. I could, but like it'd take me ages. I've got too much vinyl. But yeah. So what I want to know is all this eclectic sort of mashup of all these sort of like electronica, sort of all these different subgenres of electronica coming through here. I want to know like the songwriting process of this, because it's just not like a normal band kind of shit, right? So how's this
Are you
come together?
going to take this one, Job?
You want me to
You
say the
explain it,
thing?
Yeah,
want me
you
to
explain
it.
You do
Do
it
the
so
thing.
well.
Do the thing.
I've got the well, basically, we wrote this album with our beautiful friend Fletcher Matthews and producer, who we have dubbed the fourth tape because Lindsay forgot that there's only two of us, so he's actually the third tape. So that's Fletch, and basically he's one of our friends, and he wanted to work with us for quite a while, and he's a person we'd see at shows all the time, and he's seen us play a whole bunch of times. So we had that relationship with him, and we went in to do some writing, like to do some recording with him, sorry. And we had like 5 or 6 songs that we'd fleshed out in a band prac, like normal old school bands type of recording.
Yeah.
And he just went like, cool, I don't care right now. Let's do this instead. And he just held our hand really gently and said, let's listen to music for like a little bit. Let's show me some songs, and I'm going to ask you some questions about the song. So like we'd play a song, we'd be like, we love this. Let's do this. He'd like, do you like the melodies? Do you like the production? Like, what do you like about this? And really dive down. And then if we like the songwriting on something, he'd say, okay, well, how about you show me something where you really like the sound of the synths on it? What's something you like that? And like, we just bounce around listening to a whole bunch of different songs. We sat there for like 3 hours listening to music. And at the end, he just like held up a list of notes and was like, this is what you've just told me you like. Like for example, I think there was like 20 something songs, 25 songs or something. And only 2 or 3 of them had live drums. So he was like, let's just try some electronic stuff and give it a run. And at the end of the day, let's have a go at this for like a day or two. And if you don't like what we're doing, then we just won't do that. And we'll go back and do other stuff. Like, it was a very low pressure, organic approach to changing our sound, I guess. And it was very liberating in the studio to just try shit without any like dramas that it was going to be the thing that we had to release. It was just like, let's try something for fun and see how it goes with some friends. And I think that really shines through the fact that we're just like, let's try dumb shit. And that sort of just carried on throughout the whole process.
I kind of wish that would be like the attitude taken for a lot of bands is let's try some dumb shit instead of like going, this is what the structure we've got to do. We've got to do this, this, and this. And it sucks the life out of the songs sometimes.
Yeah, we did have plenty of that too. There were some things we could be as dumb as we could within some very strict boundaries and parameters that we set ourselves. But like we really wanted to make sure the melodies were all as strong as they could be, and that's one thing we really focused on. Like at the start, whenever we were writing, we would start with melodies. We'd have a little loop or a little chord progression, and Lindsay, myself, and Fletch would all just like take turns on the microphone, just singing for like minutes, just trying to find melodies. And then at the end, we'd comp the best melodies together and make a song out of those melodies. Because if you don't have a good melody, the song's not going to be good.
Yeah,
at the end of
it's
the
all
day.
the key is the hook, isn't it? Really, isn't it?
Yeah. How did I do, Linz? Was that good?
That was perfect.
Thanks.
It was so good.
Hey, hang on, this has been rehearsed before.
No, it's we've kind of whenever we've explained this, we jump back and forth and kind of, you know, like old married couples where they're like, oh, and don't forget that bit, and then don't forget that bit, and it's been bouncing around. Now I'm like, Job does it, and he knows all of the things, and I'm gonna let him go.
Just making
that was
notes.
an extended version too. That one was fun.
Lindsay's just making notes in the ground, just going, okay, all right, yeah, cool.
You forgot all of these
forgot
details.
this one. Did you want to add anything to that, Lindsay?
The like within a structure until it reached like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then the end of braces is that 1 a.m. in the morning till 3 a.m. in the morning. That's where those little flourishes come in really late at night.
A little bit loopy.
I usually do like my best writing or anything like that at 11 o'clock or at night. Yeah, that's the stupid muse decides to be a night owl instead of like coming at the most appropriate times. Can't help that.
Absolutely.
100%. Ours sort of came out of necessity. We were just like, we had blocks to write in. Like this was written over the course of maybe 18 months, but every block of writing was like 1 to 2 week sessions where we just did this for 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We just wanted to squeeze all the time we could out of the time we had, because we both work in schools and had, used our school holidays wisely. And it'd just get to like, a certain point in the night, like we've got to finish this bit. If we finish this bit, then tomorrow we can start on something new, because we've got to keep rolling. So those little like hours were just squeezing every last drop out of the creative rat, if you will.
So was there a particular song on this album that when you were creating going through the creative process of it, that you realized, yes, this is what the sound is going to be?
Did you say this the other day, Newlands?
Which one?
Was it Braces or one of them? What was the early one?
Yeah, I think it was Wait Next to You. It's the last song on the album. It's the really lush, slow one, but it's got that electronic drums, beautiful synths, those perfect soaring melodies, and all of the fun little bits and pieces, like the candy in your ears. That song kind of really encapsulated what we wanted. And after we finished it, after we did our first demo of it, I remember in particular Job and Fletch looking at each other and just going like, oh, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And we knew we were on the right track, and that was like after doing the first demo. So
right.
I think even that first few sessions of demos, when I was like, going home after that, like, like musicians, you make something and then you want to go to the next thing. Very rarely in the past had I ever listened to my own music. Like I'd make it and then I'd be like, cool, I did that, and then go and perform it because that's what we were doing. But like I'd find myself like wanting to listen to these and be like, this sounds so good. This is great. Like this is something I would listen to. Like I'm happy with this. So I guess that was a great sign early on.
So how does this convey over to the live sort of field though?
With lots of effort.
Programming galore.
Well, when we like first started slotting a few of these songs in, we were still like a 3-piece band and had to make that work. And some songs sounded great. Some songs I guess we were still trying to figure out where everything had to be. But we've got it in a pretty sweet spot at the moment as a 2-piece. We're doing a lot of like a bit more electronic. Like I'm playing, I've got stuff on it. I can't pick it up, but I'm like an Ableton push. Okay. And I'm doing a bit of like playing some synths and doing some live programming and stuff. And Lindsay's playing a whole lot of that hectic bass. And yeah, I'm playing guitar. It's crazy. The live rig's just a really crazy setup. We're both running no amps, like the Line 6 Helix rack unit.
Yep.
So there's Ableton's controlling everything, and we're using MIDI to switch all of our presets, so we don't have to touch anything with our feet anymore. It's all very high tech. But yeah, it takes a lot of effort to set up on the back end. Like there's a lot of like we do pre-production rehearsals at, luckily, King Street Hotel, very, very lovely, and let us use their beautiful venue during the week when there's no gigs on, and we go in with our sound person. We don't have to take a sound person if we know there's going to be someone good there, but it just makes our life so much easier when we take a sound person with us now.
You'd have a in-ear setup as well.
We do.
Yeah, so the sound dudes are not going to, different venues are going to love you.
Yes. It just takes so long. Like if we've got someone who knows what they're doing, we do a quick changeover, and there's just so many variables, and we're sort of with having drums on the track, we're so at the mercy of how the sound is. It's pretty full on.
Have you braced for any kind of fuck ups, like technical fuck ups?
We don't do them. We don't talk about them.
No. No one mentions the gremlins. It's okay.
Nah, we
Yeah.
always have gremlins. Do you want to take Linz? We had a few early on, obviously.
Oh, actually, the big one was my lead wasn't long enough for my helix, and so we had them in a stack on Job's side of the stage.
Yeah.
So I had this the first show we did. It was the Cambridge Farewell Festival. I remember it because I kind of got on stage and we had such a quick changeover. I was like, I'm gonna have to stand in the middle of the stage, Job, like really close to you because this lead is too short. And lo and behold, he stepped back and like ripped it out halfway through, and I had to like run over. I've never been so fast, like plugging something in. But I kind of love when you make mistakes like that. Like, if anything, if you're someone watching from the crowd, you're like, oh, they're human and they make mistakes.
Yeah.
But also we learn from them. And now we've got a list of things where we're like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Fix. And it just makes us stronger.
20-foot leads touring is a must.
Absolutely. The next day,
Yours is longer than that now, isn't it, Linz?
Oh, it's massive. It's massive.
It's huge. We haven't gone to wireless guitars yet, but that's something we would very much like to do as well.
I still don't trust them. I mean, I'm a bass player myself, so I don't trust wireless gear. I don't know why. It's just one of those things I just go,
As much as I would like to say that, we have a laptop running everything, and it's a fucking laptop. So if I have to trust tech, and if I don't, I'm just fucked.
Depends how old the laptop is, really, isn't it?
It's pretty. It's actually getting on. It's from COVID, but it's a big boy. Knew someone that worked at Apple that I explained what I was doing. It was like, what computer do I need? It's like, dude, you need the big one with all of the things inside.
All the things.
But thank you, COVID job seeker allowance or whatever that thing was. Where we got. Remember when we got free money?
I didn't.
Remember free money? Oh, were you working? Were you?
Yeah, man, I work in retail, but my retail was also online, and my job tripled.
Wow.
My store that I've been a manager for a certain store on the Sunshine Coast for nearly 18 years, and one of my jobs is to run the website as well. And even though the doors closed physically, because it's a luxury item, let's say that. And a rare luxury item, and people all of a sudden gained interest in it, and they had money burning a hole in the back of their pocket. And
watches? Is it fancy watches?
No, it's not far off though. Not far off.
I'm not going to make you answer, but Lindsay, do you have a guess?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Luxury items. Can you tell us after we're recording?
I think of just like an Australian gemstone, and you'll get an idea.
Oh, Paul.
Oh.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I gained a few extra grey hairs from that period of time where it was a good 3 months of just basically me losing my mind. Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, I didn't get the special little treatment from the government, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I kept my job.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we couldn't play gigs or anything like that, obviously, but I started this thing during COVID, so to talk to people like you and talk to my friends that I wasn't gigging, so I couldn't be a part of it. So yeah, and this thing stuck around, believe it or not. Who knows?
Nice.
That's a nice origin story. I like that.
That something good came out of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. But I've lost my track now. What I was going to be bringing up.
Sorry.
Nah, it's okay.
We do that.
Yeah, it's just the ADHD, man. I had several tabs open and they're all fucking shut.
Oh no. I found out the other day you can on a phone you can save a group of tabs as a group. So when you want to do, I don't know, school stuff, Lindsay, you can open school and all those tabs open at once.
Hectic. I hate that. I hate having heaps of tabs open. My boyfriend actually gets really angry at me because if I borrow his phone, I go through and get rid of all of the apps that he's had up.
You're an anti-tabist.
I'm an anti-tabist, and I do it without thinking about it and get rid of all of his safe shit.
I'm the same, Lindsay. I close everything as well.
Yeah, it just
not on internet though. I keep stuff open, especially things that are am thinking about purchasing. Like I got a pair of footy boots on there at the moment, so every time I open,
So you don't
app,
clear
I'm
your
like,
history or the search data, basically.
nah, I'm like, do I want them? Do I want these? And like, the more I look at them, it's like, if I keep looking at it and thinking about it, maybe I do want it.
You could
Or
bookmark
sometimes
it,
I
you know
wrap
that, right?
Yeah, but then I won't go to the bookmark.
Because it's not
my
right in front
brain.
of you. It's not right in
I need
front
to
of you.
see it. It needs to be popping up every little bit to be like, oh, help me make a decision.
All right, okay. So this is what I was going to bring up too. Like, favorite song to actually that is on the album versus favorite song to play live.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
My favorite song on the album is Sin Bin.
Why?
It's so silly. I remember writing the lyrics for it, all of like the football references. And it was probably one of the fastest lyric writing sessions we had, just because we were like, all right, it's got to be football puns and it's going to be silly. And the music itself is really beautiful, and really fast and boppy. And like the
production's really fun on it. Hey,
at the end, there's Fletch made like a synth out of my voice. I remember like singing in some vowels, and he turned them into these really cool synths like underneath the outro, which was awesome. I really love that. And unfortunately, we haven't played like all of the songs on the album yet live. But I definitely really love Braces. That bass line is so fun to play. So much fun.
I have to agree with you on that one. That bass line's pretty dope, man.
It's sick.
Yeah, it is really fun.
And you, Joe?
I think for me, my favorite song, one of my favorite songs on the album, is probably All Night Regret. But we played it maybe 2 times, but it was when we were first putting this like new 2-piece crazy set list together, and it's just fucking hard to sing. Hey, like it's screaming top of my lungs, and like this is when we were still doing a fair bit of other stuff.
Yeah,
and we had it first in the set, and like that is such a dumb spot for that song to go to the very top of my vocal range straight away. So that was not fun to play live for one of my favorite songs yet. We've got to go back to the fucking drawing board on that one. Rejig. Yeah, I've been thinking about it because I really want to play that one live. I think it'll go off. And I think the most fun one at the moment to play live, I think for me, is K High, because we play it right towards the end of the set. It's pretty up in tempo.
Yeah.
And it like we play it second last into K Bye, so the whole K High K Bye combo is a fun little 1-2 punch, and I get to scream my guts out. I don't really scream my guts out on stage anymore, so it's like once I get to that part of the set, I know like the wheels are off and I can
loose.
You do K Bye with my eyes closed now, so that's it. We're done. This is the fun bit. I can just dance around at this point.
I think I said in the review for Just Want to Be Alone, I think I said it was ready for like a epic stadium moment, like a festival moment. Like there's a part like there is that section of that song towards the end there where it's just like really, really big, and it just felt like a confetti, like stupid streamer shit coming down, and just like like I could see that done in a festival sort of environment. So this makes me think now. I want your opinion, because I've actually asked a few people this one, that the whole situation within Australia with music festivals and the scene right now. I mean, what's your take on it?
No one's got any money. Everyone's broke as fuck.
We've got some people over for dinner at the moment, and was having a conversation about like 40 minutes ago about the state of music festivals in Australia, which is funny you bring it up, but it's really tricky because like personally for me, I don't think I want to spend a few $100s and go stand outside all day after I've had a full week of work. Unfortunately. I'm really in that cozy period, particularly in winter, where it's like it's nice to have little dinners with your friends and then, you know, go for walks in the morning and just enjoying doing stuff. And that kind of zest for going for festivals when you're in your early 20s is kind of dissipated. I'm not in that stage anymore. And the people who would usually pick up the slack, the new generation, they're not actually going out either. And they don't have money either, because in a cost of living crisis, being a uni student at the moment and having a part-time job and having to pay for rent and food and go to Splendor in the Grass for 3 days and spend $1,000. So it's it's so hard and it's so tricky, particularly being someone in the music industry, because music festivals are the fun things. They're the silver linings to all the other crap you do in the music industry, and we can't do that because I don't know, no one's really figured out a great way to fix it.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
I think you touched on some of the points that I agree with. There is the main one is just that no one's got any money. Like everyone's broke as hell. At the end of the day, music and live events is something. It's an entertainment thing. It's not something you need to survive. You're not gonna die if you don't go to a music festival. But people are struggling to put groceries on the table. Like people are going on these. I know there's all these big, massive op-eds about how do we save live music? How do we do this? It's like, we just need to give people a basic fucking minimum wage. Give people some more money. It's as simple as that. If people have more money to do fun things, then they'll go do the fun things. That's the baseline that I think is the big, most important thing under it all. But the other thing, like you said, Linz, is the kids coming through. The music festival isn't as high on their priority. I think it's so hard to make a music festival that the kids, I sound old here, but that 16 to 22 age group are going to want to go to. It's everyone's music taste is so heavily niched down now that these big, massive, something for everyone music festivals, it's not as much of an appeal anymore, especially if like a lot of your friends aren't going because they can't afford it. Like a lot of people would have went to that and not really known the music back in the day because it's like, oh, my friends are going, I'll just fucking go, whatever, I don't care. It's a social event. It's where everyone's going. I'm going to go, but if people can't,
and you're also taking out with a lot of the festivals that have survived and are still going. There's a lot of like repeated bands that are playing and still making the circuit, and it's like if you're going to go to one festival, you go to one. You're not going to go to all of them where it's like, well, like the big band that's playing this year played last year at this other festival I went to. Like, what's the point? Yeah, it's really tricky when you don't have that big ticket.
It's a shame for me because like I've never been someone who's very affluent and had a bunch of spare money, but that's why I loved music festivals because like I'm from Newcastle and a lot of these international acts that would come out, I'm not going to travel down to Sydney to see most of these acts. Like though I could maybe pick a couple to go to every now and then, but like that's a $100 ticket, then plus the travel, maybe a comm, like all of that. That adds up. Yep. Yeah. So for me to spend maybe $300 on a Splendid ticket or whatever it's worth these days, $500. Yep. And there's like 5 to 10 international acts I want to see. That's me making money. Like that's the way I would always justify it. It's like that is actually me saving a lot of money going to see a bunch of acts that I probably wouldn't get to see or be able to make that make sense financially for me. So it is a big shame in that regard. And the classic, as someone on the other side of it, how many acts do you discover at those festivals where you do just go along with some friends to see someone or, oh, I like one of their songs, I'll go check them out. And they're crazy.
Well, I found like, because Woodford is close to me, like it's literally 20 minutes from where I live.
Nice.
So Woodford's a different thing because it's basically becomes a whole town in its own right. Like you got Woodford the town, but then the festival becomes it has 100,000 people there over the 7-day period or something. So it literally becomes its own little town. And and I've done that before where I've discovered I've heard of an act and went, oh yeah, I'm familiar with one song on there, and all of a sudden, holy crap, this band's amazing. What I'm finding though, and I've had the same conversation with a few other artists, including like Paddy from the Dregs and Dennis from Love Love Love, and it's basically the boutique festivals that are the ones that are gonna keep on chugging through, right? Because they're not spreading the genres so thin. They're appealing to people of a certain like fan group. Like the metal festivals are still doing pretty good. Like they actually had a dive and now they get back and they're doing okay. You have like Listen Out's just made its comeback, which is pretty fucking. We'll let's just see if it actually goes ahead. But
line up announced tomorrow morning, if you will. Actually,
sorry, what?
Lineup's actually announced tomorrow morning.
Well, there we go.
So we'll see.
There we go. Yeah. Big Pineapple's making a comeback, as far as I know.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So all these like smaller ones. I mean, I went to Lookout Festival at Sandstone Point, which is like Brobby Island. And that was they had Incubus Live, Birds of Tokyo, Eskimo Joe, and Super Jesus.
Oh,
and it was dope.
Yeah.
But the demographic was a different demographic because they're all like sort of my age, maybe elder
Yeah.
millennials and Gen Xers basically, and it was packed out. My
Yeah.
eldest daughter came with me. She's 23. She came with me to this, and she's never been to like a rock festival like that before. She's always just gone to like the Duftel Fest and just like the all the ones that just like where like Ice Spice is happening or whatever like that. And it's not my cup of tea, but I'm old, but whatever. And she came to this, and she's like, "Man, this is sick," and I'm not drunk. I'm still awake.
Yeah.
And I went, "Yeah, it's a little bit different." And her pace kept up with me. She goes, usually at this time in the afternoon or whatever it was, I'd be sort of like puking my guts out near that way. I'm like, okay, this is a different festival experience. I don't know if all 22-year-olds act like that, but it all comes down to disposable income, yeah, and pacing yourself and that. But yeah, it could be like a festival fatigue thing.
Yeah. And I think just in general, like you're saying, like I think music taste in general is becoming more niche down. Like as much as, yeah, we like to think that we listen to everything, and I love to listen to everything. But if you can go to a music festival and you know you're going to have a bunch of people in the same genre you like, it's a lot easier to sell that as like I'm going to the rock fest. I know the people I'm going to see there from my town that like that music. It's a crowd.
Yeah.
And that goes with any scene. Like you see those smaller ones, boutique ones tend to be the ones that work. Like what's the one near your house, Lindsay, that your dad goes to? Dashville?
Yeah, Dashville.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
The community style, definitely not community anymore, but definitely more based around a community. And it's an event.
They have 3 festivals that I've been told.
Mhm.
They've got the Gumball, Dashville, and there's another one that I can't think of.
And they all have different,
Dashville,
that's the thing. They're all pointing towards these certain genres of music, and they stick to that, which works. But also we can come back to the same thing. It like all of the boutique ones that we were talking about, the one out in Belford, Woodford, the demographic's a lot older. Older people have money.
Yeah.
They have money, and they're going to survive because, you know, they're catered towards people who are going to not go absolutely berserk and take heaps of drugs or, you know, be a dance festival.
Dude, you are absolutely underselling old people. They get smashed. Are you trying to drink with my dad? And your dad? God.
Man, I see him behaving badly all the time. Like there's certain gigs I've been to where like what do they call them? The Melbourne Ska Orchestra one time when they played up here, and they have a certain demographic that follows them, and they were playing on a long weekend, and so they packed it out. But it was a certain demographic, an older demographic, and they were like basically letting teenagers loose after they've been kept inside for like a month, and they just come out and they just behave so fucking rabidly. And like I saw one of them, this guy would have been 50, hanging from like the ceiling trying to grab the mirror ball of this particular venue. Just going far out. No, they get loose. Yeah.
But I think all the ones we've mentioned are ones that have like a big community aspect to them, and I think they're the ones that have survived, like Meredith and Golden Plains down in Melbourne, that's still just out of Melbourne. Like that one, everyone that goes says, I'm going back next year. I don't care who's playing.
Well, that's like Woodford too.
Yeah, but like you can bring an esky and take it to the stage and sit and drink with your esky there. And like it's those kind of ones that I think is really important. I think the more commercial ones were always built on the fact that like you had community there, but it was very transient. They're built who was playing, and when international touring isn't happening and it's so hard to put together a crazy lineup, because that's what they were known for, getting this mental lineup. When it's hard to put that together, then the rest of it's sort of falling away.
To summarize, basically, cost of living crisis, boutique festivals are sort of the ones that, and community sense of support of these festivals. I think we can summarize that. Yeah. Gonna have to wrap things up because we're going to run out of time.
We do that a lot.
Yeah, it's all right. I like rambling. It's all good. I have to say, guys, the album's epic. Well done. And
thank you.
Thank you so much.
I really like eclectic stuff coming through here. I mean, I get a lot of stuff sent to me, and sometimes it's like it's cool, but this stands out. So, like, well done.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely lovely.
You guys hang on the line there. I'll have a quick debrief with you. Everyone else, this has been RAAVE Tapes, and check this on the other side. See, this is what happens when I am extremely tired and had a long day at work and then do a podcast. I just ramble, and I'm glad that I had fellow ramblers in Job and Lindsay. Really appreciate Rave Tapes for jumping on board with this one. Do check out the album. It is that good. And if you get to see them live, actually, you guys, see them live. I want to see this, like the new formation thing would be pretty sick. Okay, that's it for this week, and maybe next week. I don't know. We'll see what comes up. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please do subscribe if you dig it. It does mean a lot. And thank you for supporting local music, live music, Australian music, all sorts of music. You guys are legends. Ta-ta.